analyst to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development. We have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say to except here. This is where I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections gave the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing, we are starving. We should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Oᴘᴇɪᴇ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll welcome you in the next as we discuss the situations.
Oga Police, don't worry, I see you. You know you can do the right thing, right? You know you can do without that bribe. You know you don't even have to harass that young man because he is properly dressed. And you think he's a Yahoo boy? You don't even have to assault that citizen whom you have sworn an oath to protect. Yes, we understand that the pay is not good enough to take you home, that you are still wearing a uniform that you bought with your own money 5 years ago. It's no news that the government has not done enough by you. We feel your pain and we wish things could be different as we continue to call on government to wake up to their responsibilities. We want the police to be our friends, just as it is boldly stated across the various police stations nationwide. And from Mainland 98.3 FM, we implore you to do better. We love you and we support you always.
Very good evening to you. Welcome to the Situation Room live from Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Today's Friday, at the 9th day of the 8th month of the year 2024. And what that means is this is the last edition. So much conversation around responsibility, citizenship, expectations, both from everyone involved, both from the government, from the governed as well. I mean, all through the week we've had conversation around, how we can make a lot of progress, not just taking one step forward and 20 steps backward. And I mean, for someone that loves sports so much, I've paid so much attention, not just because I have a 6 to 7 p.m. sports show as such, but I mean, I've looked at how what countries around the world have shown commitment, and more importantly, they've seen the result of having thorough and intentional investment in sport development in their countries. You look at the ongoing Olympic game, for instance, in Paris, in France, and it was an event that started with so much buzz around it, expectations. I mean, countries that went with as much as 1,000, 2,000 athletes. Team Nigeria went with just 83 athletes, and we were supposed to compete in about 13 different sports, or 14 different sports or thereabout. But the game ends in a few days' time, and as we speak, Nigeria had not recorded a single bronze medal, from tennis to rowing to cycling to football to basketball to table tennis to even judo to taekwondo. All of the sports that we came in for. I mean, you ask questions. Is it really about the quality of the leadership, or you think it's about the commitment from the athletes? We have athletes, that have been in the US training for the Olympics. After so many years, they came around, and we almost don't have anything to show for it. Expectations were big. You expect that maybe the world record champion in 100 meters, you'd expect that she should be able to make it to the podium. But it's just been a mix of a whole lot of things. And I won't lie, in as much as we want to say that maybe the athlete did not do enough, and maybe we didn't have enough quality, you ask yourself, the quality of the leadership that we have, the people administering sports in this country. Yes, it sometimes it's not really about how long you've stayed. Yes, again, you could stay long and bring tremendous results, but my father would always say that only fools does things the same way and they expect a different result. I mean, we have a country of over 200 million people. Let us admit that we don't have up to 220 million people that can be the chairperson or the president of the Nigerian Olympic Committee. But you can't tell me that we don't have former Olympians, people that have put our names at the world stage, even if they've not won medals, people that have represented us at the Olympics. We can't say we don't have those that country being the national champion in table tennis. Do we really have a system that will bring in new people to take over these people when they leave eventually? What happened to school sports in Nigeria? Have we made as much progress as we can make? How many schools in Nigeria actually have proper sporting facilities? Except let me say, beyond wearing just sports wears on maybe Wednesdays, those are the only time you see them. Go to those schools. They collect hundreds of thousands from playing those sports. So how do we develop in a country with so much talent? When the United States women basketball team defeated the Tigers a few days ago, I made a post and I said, where the United States is today in basketball is where Nigeria should be in football. Maybe beyond Brazil. I'm not sure if there's any other country in the world that has as much as we have in terms of footballing talent, football league in the world, where you don't have at least a Nigerian playing in those leagues. And that is the quality of how much we can push out there. But what have we gained? Where are we? Look at the senior team, the Super Eagles. We're almost at the risk of not making it to the next World Cup from a group that has Benin Republic. How do you explain that? What happens to our 8 great teams? The Super Falcons did not make it to the Olympics for the past 4 Olympics. That's how much progress have we made in this nation. The ports, maybe we do more of that by 6 o'clock. The Jogain will join me via phone all the way from France to look at the performance of Team Nigeria and where we are at the moment and what next should we do. That will be by 6 to 7 p.m. on Sport Cruise. Now let's get back into the Situation Room. Wow, it's a show that we get to do every Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. 90 straight minutes of conversation around leadership and politics, around governance, and most especially the situation being about the End Bad Governance protest, irrespective of what hashtag you give it. Take It Back movement, End Bad Governance, End Hunger protest, End this, End that. A lot of people at the protest ground at Ojota kept asking is, the government should listen to them. The president should speak to them. We didn't appoint the Minister of Information. We didn't vote for the Minister of Information. At the end of the day on Sunday, the president spoke to the people. The president, in his own wisdom, spoke what he felt Nigerians needed to hear. Or let me put it this way, what Nigerians wanted to hear. Programs that the government has in plans for Nigerians, the ones that they've done, the ones that they're doing at the moment, the short-term, the long-term plans. The president gave everything out. And hours later, Nigerians kept asking questions. Is this the right thing the president should have said? Even the very respected Professor WG %, had an opinion about the speech of Mr. President. But be that as it may, the speech was read by Mr. President, and reactions followed. Protests that were peaceful in some part of Nigeria. And whatever I say at this point is not in any way to malign any region of this country. It is the reality that is on ground. It is the fact that is there for everyone to see. And facts are sacred. They are not relative. They are very sacred. Abuja, Kaduna, Jos, Kano, Gombe, Bauchi, it was relatively peaceful. On Friday, we saw videos that was trending about how Muslim protesters observed their Friday prayers at the old airport roundabout in Jos. They formed protection around them and they observed their Friday prayers. The same thing was reported on Sunday, where interdenominational service was held at the old airport roundabout. In Kaduna, we also saw protests at the point that there was curfew in Kano after we saw, the Nigerian Communication Commission Empowerment Center that was awaiting commission in Kano was looted, and a part of the building was set ablaze. That is pure irresponsibility. Moving down to Jos as well, some interest and business investment in Bauchi Road declared a curfew. Well, the state is still under partial curfew, by the way, although it's been relaxed from 12 noon to 6 p.m. I had the Commissioner for Information Plateau State, my very own friend, Honorable Musa Asham, join me on the show on Monday and expressed why it was necessary for the curfew. Taking to Abuja, the FCT, there were a lot of issues, reactions, how the authorities, the security agencies reacted or responded to the protesters. Comrade Jadi Onju also joined me on Monday via phone from Abuja, and he told us how it went, how many protesters were picked up, and how they're working around the clock to make sure that they secure their release as well. And these were the issues that dictated how you can perceive the success or the failure of that protest. And that's the fact. I also had Petra Oyebule join me. Amended allows you to protest, peaceful protest. In fact, the same constitution allows you to be protected while you're protesting. However, that particular right is not absolute. That means it could be checked. If the government or the authorities see that there are potentials for danger. So, also that where your right is, it does not give you the right to infringe on other people's rights. Now, I'm here, and then you feel you want to protest against the government, and I said I don't want to be a part of the protest. You don't have the right to block my own right of passage. I'm going to work. I'm an emergency worker. I'm driving an ambulance. I'm driving a bullion van, and you decide to block the road and obstruct my right of passage. You've infringed on my own right as well. But how much do Nigerians understand these issues? That was issues that we discussed on Monday and Tuesday on the show. Today's Friday, because we've not had enough time to have engagement all through the week because of the guests that we've been bringing back to back. In fact, yesterday we couldn't pick any call or read any message. Mr. Nɪṛᴏ, the chief political editor of Guardian newspaper, was with us all through from 4 to 5:30. So I made a promise to you that today we'd open the conversation, out of buzz around it. The government had their own position. The Right Honorable Tajudeen Abbas. We saw the deputy speaker, the deputy senate president. We saw, senators like Senator WG SAW and a host of other people appealing to Nigerians the need why it was not necessary for us to have that protest. Traditional leaders also, the Ooni of Ife and a host of others also appeal to the people and say, it is really fragile as we speak. Why don't we move the protest forward? Town criers and we're moving around the communities warning the people not to protest. It's okay. I mean, the interpretation of all of these actions are left for the Nigerian people to decide. But then I had also one of the convener of the protest, of the presidential candidate, presented to the president, and I asked him, if the president decides to meet a few of these conditions, would you decide not to leave the protest? And he said it is 15 or nothing. It is for them to also decide what they really truly want. Then they will each have a peaceful protest. And then people start asking questions. What is the right time, or when is the right time to have a peaceful protest? The responsibility of the security agencies that we have in this country across board is to make sure that the citizens are protected their constitutional rights. So it gives a lot to desire when the leadership of the police says it is not safe. It's okay. When we got to Ojota on Monday, we saw heavy presence of policemen from both sides of the road, but a lot of credit will not burn. I understand that we had the scar of the NSAS protest in 2020, but I'm moving away from the shadow of tyrannical leadership to the point where we can say, I'm proud to be a Nigerian and I want to make sure that this country works. So I will be open protest. A lot of states did not join the protest for obvious reasons. There are fears that, what happened to it, the NSAS could repeat itself. Some states felt like, it is an attempt to overthrow the government or to destroy the region or to do this and to do that. It's understandable. But truly, do Nigerians really understand what the protest is about? Peaceful protest in no ramifications. Like we saw in Lagos, the point of meeting was at the Ojota, and there were no issues whatsoever. Yeah, there were issues, reported cases of some skirmishes and some little confrontations, but I mean, we did not record any death whatsoever or any attack, whether from the security agencies or even from the protesters. Yes, I remember on Sunday, some guys came in with machete and sticks just to disrupt the protest. What have we gained from this exercise? Have we learned any lessons? What do you think about it? What do you also think about the reaction and the responses from a lot of Nigerians? Issue of protesters, they were harassed by the security agencies. However, it is important to know that for every democracy to function, there are 5 major pillars of such democracies. 1 is the executive arm of government. 2 is the legislative arm of government. 3 is the judiciary. 4, it is the press, which is the 4th estate of the realm. And the 5th, which is the most important, is the people. If you understand the simplest definition of democracy, it says the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. That means in that context, the people gives you power as a governor. The people gives you power as a president. The people gives you power as a senator. The people gives you power as a reps member. It's as simple as that. Even if you were not voted for a place. So the responsibility of governance, it is solely for the people. Let me ask you these questions again. What did we gain from the End Bad Governance protest? 0913600410. Keep your calls coming in. 0913600410. You can also go to our social media spaces on facebook.com/mainland98.3fm. We're streaming live. You can see what we're doing and drop your comment there. I would read your comment as well. Go on X, formerly Twitter, and follow us on Instagram and YouTube. It is mainland98.3fm. 0913600410. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, very good evening.
Good to have you join us on the show. Your name and where you're calling from?
This is Mike speaking. I'm calling from Ikeja.
Mike from Ikeja. Good to have you on the show today. Let's go.
Yeah, for me, if there is nothing that protest was able to achieve, at least one thing is apparent. The president and those that are in power cannot say they don't know Nigerians are hungry, because in equivocal terms it was demonstrated in the street that people are hungry. So perhaps before and all your policies are on point, you're leading the nation's economic policies that you are put in place. And so, and again, another thing, if they are listening, one thing they should do is that perhaps the days of taking the people for granted is coming to an end. The time that you just sit and do whatsoever you like and you think nothing will happen, I think those days are gradually coming to an end in our country. And we're coming to that point where the leaders will be held accountable for everything they do. And that's why for me, my advocacy would be, this should not be the last, but this should be the first. And that we will hold our leaders accountable. You must explain to people and don't just take us for granted. But that for me is the benefit of the protest.
Thank you very much. He said that is the lesson from the protest, and the benefit from is that the people must never be taken for granted. 0913600410. You're live on Mainland FM. Your name and where you calling from? Mr. Austin, it's a bit noisy where you are. Are you driving?
No, I'm not. Okay. And it's quite unfortunate that you have a government that is not listening. listening to the demand of the protesters. Understand? Even those people that are countering the protest, maybe they were paid to do so. Some are in support of that. So the protest is necessary. Let the government listen to the people, because it's their
listening to the people. 0913-600-0410. I pick a lot of calls and also read your messages on Facebook and also read your direct text messages on 0913-600.
Yes, I can hear.
You don't know where you're calling from.
I'm Dixon from Iowa.
Okay, Mr. Dixon, good to have you on the show today.
Yeah, it's okay for people to say that it was very, very successful. Not minding what happened, but better that went haywire. It's a different problem entirely. Hunger has taken over fully that zone. Their leaders have abandoned them. That is why you see they went the way they went to. But no matter what happened, the protest has set a stigma to the government that if they think they can to do what they know how to do, instead of addressing certain issues to the way he was doing campaign. He was what he was to do when he was campaigning. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Now you have entered now. You are not telling us this is what you have done. What we have not seen. We have not seen listed. We have not seen anything. You are saying this is what you want to do. This is what you have done. Then what are they crying? Not crying. You will get there. But rather there is this starting, there is this people fasting, there is this people gapping in. I don't understand. But I know this country belongs to God. And one day things will get right. I pray for somebody like this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. 0913 all through the past few weeks. We've had the likes of Shegumi join us on the show. We've had Deji join us on the show. We have Commissioner for Information Plateau State join us. We've had Omoilishure join us. We've had reasons to put in a lot of talks here. So I feel, today is Friday. Why don't you just relax a bit and let me have your own thoughts about the protest. Was it successful? Let me have your thoughts. 0913-600-0410. Mikowe, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my brother. I'm Mikowe calling from Ipaja.
Good to have you today.
Yeah. When I was growing up, I shouted up NEPA when there is light. Right now, I am 50. And my children that are coming, I started shouting up NEPA. Okay, are we moving forward or backward? You see, the truth is this. This administration that we have should come to terms that Nigeria of today is not that of yesterday. You should have faced that even from the election period. Because it's so strange to this administration that the people are now demanding, demanding accountability. They are now demanding good governance. But they thought it's a thing of me. They now know that Nigerians will ask questions. Okay, see, without doing this, I am telling that is why I see. Look at the successive administration. The previous administration will always be better than the current one. And yes, and then just look back, and people will be attributing it. Nobody is telling them, no, we can't continue like this. Nobody is telling them that is why they feel that they will come and do it and go and perhaps claim the previous administration all through their state, and we will align with that. So they now know Nigerians are no more interested in those stories. Because look at what the present administration is doing, or what we are calling palliative. You give people handouts that ends up in enough for one meal.
Thank you.
So when you look at it, there is need for what is going on right now.
Thank you very much. Please, yes, I know a whole lot of us want to talk, but please let's just try and make it as short as from.
Yeah, this is your brother Don calling from Ojota.
Don from Ojota. Good to have you join us on the show.
Don.
Yes. Don. Yeah. Okay, you're welcome.
Yes, I was in the protest ground. We started rallying from Kenya under our demand 1 to 4. And then 9 to 11, if Tinubu can address 1 to 4, at least that's our demand. Reversal and 1 to 4 and what? And 9 to 11, at least the whole problem is solved. Hello, sir.
I'm with you, Don.
It's just that this process has got a long way. At least there are some unrevealed things that have been cooked in this dark pot. They have revealed to us. Say for instance, this man, what was it called? All the Niger Delta people, you know, Akpabio was saying that they should go and protest. He will be signing, so far he will be eating and be signing a Niger Delta State Commission. At least the people like Joshua should go and know that Akpabio have been burying their money. You see, a lot of lies have been exposed. Look at what ᴏᴜᴜnᴇʀ of Oyo State said. Are you with me?
Don, I'm with you, but try and wrap up your thoughts.
Yeah, ᴏᴜᴜnᴇʀ of Oyo State, a lot of lies and the rise that have been promised that is not realistic. A lot of things have been exposed. At least these protests are shaped the action of our right. And all those governors, they should be prepared also.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I mean, there are a whole lot of things to condemn in this protest, and the biggest of them all had to be, there's no justification for that treasonable offense. You cannot raise the flag of another country within another country, whether it is from the place of zero knowledge or truly as, you know, the school of thoughts or the conspiracy theory of the fact that some people sponsor those flags. The moment I saw people raising the flag of another country, I knew that this is way out of line. The constitution allows you to protest, no doubt about that, but does the constitution allow you to raise the flag of another government? I'm not a child, but a country. I've had a series of conversations with Mr. Muyiwa, the chief political editor of Guardian newspaper, and he told me what it was like for press, for journalists, for advocates, for activists, for pro-democrats prior to the military leaving this country. I'm not sure if you would have the privilege of listening to me this evening, if you would have the privilege of dialing up my phone right now to talk to us and have your thought heard, if you get what you're asking for. Nigerians, be very careful what you wish for. I mean, you're making references to Niger Republic, you're making references to some of the ECOWAS states that are under the military rule. Beyond what you read on the pages of newspaper or you watch on your TV, please, I will say this again. Hey, 09136000410. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mr.
Welcome to the show. Your name and where you calling from?
Thank you very much. This is Malam Bello Usman coming from Edun.
Malam Bello, it's a Friday and good to have you join us today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You see, thank you. To be honest, the military government rule, which I don't know much about them, but since 1999 of democracy to date, in fact, no government have ever taken Nigeria for granted like this very present government of under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If you do something in the interest of people and you discover that thing does not work out, it didn't work out the way you think, what is there than to apologize to the people that you promised to go back? To me, my dear country, my people, I thought this will work. That is why I embarked on this. At the end of the day, yes, I discovered that it is not longer work. I revised the subsidy back. Or if you don't even do that, Nigerians are telling you that they are hungry and there's no food in your country, and you have food in your neighboring country, which is maybe what is the name, Cotonou or wherever that these people used to go and buy that. You know, if you cannot revise the subsidy, either you open the order or you revise the subsidy. Those two things are critical. You don't even care. You now come out to tell Nigeria about how you award the contract of Lagos Calabar Coastal Super Highway, how you Badagry to Sokoto. Does that what was listening to? How? You don't even address the most. You don't even address anything concerning this what is the name? Protest or whatsoever. The government is all about the welfare and the security of the people, protecting of the life of the people. But this current government, I don't even know whether they think Nigerians is doable or Nigeria is nothing new to them. Okay, now everybody at the mind, something is wrong. But do you know how much NNPC are demanding from the federal government now? That is why, honestly, I advise the potentials to exercise patience. The power belongs to us.
Thank you.
The power does not belong to yes.
And there's no gainsaying the fact that the only way you can overthrow a government in this country is via the ballot. There are no two ways about it. Maybe overthrow is not the right word. If you want a government change, you wait for the ballot. There's no justification whatsoever for you to have the gods to be telling the military to come back. Come back to do what exactly? People were sent into exile, taken away from their families, businesses were closed down, the media was gagged to the fullest, and you think the best way to express your dissatisfaction with the performance of the government is to call for the military to come around. Be very careful what you ask for. Hello, good evening, welcome to Mainland FM.
Good evening, good afternoon.
Good to have you join us. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm calling for Sᴏᴜ.
Mr. Lawal Taufik from Sulu, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. I witness it. Things are not work like this now. So I'm not in the support of that. But these are the things. Like you know me, life from the day of voting. I tell you I never voted by way election because I fought my mind. But then how many people that have this kind of education? I only give thank God for my father that give me time of wisdom. These are the things. Honestly, look at what is happening now. When you buy school, when my children go free, when you buy health issue, hospital when I go free, when I get.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show. 0913-600-0410. It's Mainland 98.3 FM and it's called the Situation Room. We get to do this every Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. But today we decided not to have a guest. We decided to have your thoughts and, in respect, does it in any way reflect the nature of our democracy? It will be. But the most important thing is that the people had the voice. Whether the government heard, it's a different ballgame. But what do you think, Lola?
How you doing, my brother? Thank God it's Friday.
TGIF.
Honestly, the last protest, I think we are not only hungry, we have a lot of problems in the country. The second lesson is just, I don't want to use the word that they are less concerned, but far from the people they are governing. Because in that process, we expect Mr. Power from the people. They claim they are ruling. And the third thing is just that our security men are capable. In fact, they have enough materials to clear off all the terrorists and kidnappers. They just choose not to. With what they display against the protesters, honestly, we have gallant security men. But they are not just ready. I don't know who is pulling in this country. Another thing is just that we equally realize that we are in trouble in this country. We are in trouble because if we are going to progress as a country, we need to go to one table and decide and have a think. Because what we are having right now, we cannot have new brain in power. We are in trouble, honestly.
We're not in trouble. We'll probably just have a system where, maybe we're not being a bit lucky with the quality of the leaders that we've had. From 1999, we've had how many presidents now? 5 different presidents. From former President Olusegun Obasanjo to late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, the former President Goodluck Jonathan, immediate past President Muhammadu Buhari, and now we have they call them conservatives, whatever it is that you think they are. Lives are not getting better. If the people cannot afford to feed decently, 6th largest oil producing nation in the world, and does not have a single functional refinery owned by the government, and they are buying petrol at almost 1,000 naira per liter. A tuber go to states like Sokoto, like Katsina, like Borno, people are paying tax to bandits before they can access their farms. You look at what has been happening in some of tremendous and devastating level of insecurity. And so the government needs to have a second thought about some of. You have to need a second thought. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Mainland FM.
Hello, good evening, Opa.
You're welcome. Your name and where are you calling from?
Chooks, I'm calling from Isolo.
Mr. Chooks from Isolo. Good to have you on the show today.
Thank you. I have basically 2 points. The truth of the matter remains that the leader is as good as the process that brought him into power. When you find a leader that wants to do the will of the people, you see it in his actions. A leader cannot come into power and begin to exhibit the characters of former leaders that Nigerians are complaining of, and then you are saying you are protesting that you have opportunity to become an active president. Before they came into power, APC, like, I used to put good luck this thing in their office, image in their offices. How many will I count? I remember when Buhari was in power, a lot of when they arrested some of them that are Boko Haram who did this thing, they put them to the society, say they are rehabilitating them and release them back into the society again. So I didn't know it will become an offense when people hold the flag in Kano State. So this is the way it has been. This is the system that we have found ourselves. Buhari came and he wants to consolidate on what. The people came and he wants to consolidate on what Buhari has done. So what is Nigeria expecting? When you think it's a waste in 2007, go there, vote and defend your vote. That is all. In as much as this cycle continues to go and come, nothing will change. If life protest from now to tomorrow, if you life protest now to tomorrow, when the righteous is in power, the people will
600-0410. Keep your calls coming in. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mr. P.
Good to have you join us on the show today. Your name and where you calling from?
Mr. James from Agbado Junction.
Mr. James from Agbado Junction. Good to have you today. Let's go.
Okay. The protest has done its bid, but believe you, the protest carried out or conducted, these people will not be fully to the country, that to turn things around for good. That is waiting to the people. Then they will take, they will have to change and revise, because I know you might be on the revised motion and without knowing that the vehicle that you are in is going back. But by the time you listen to people, then you put it on the revised, forward revised, whereby we enter gear 1, and that means things will be moving forward. But the people at the aim of affairs of this country are not the type of people that have the desire to fix Nigeria. Their only intention is that let me just be present and let me have people. Remember what happened in Lɪਧᴇ when people were peacefully protesting. Not only did army arrive there, but when army got there, they even sang the rest of it. It was they were, many of them were brutally murdered. So that has become Nigeria issue. So what happened afterward? Did anybody arrested on that respect? Did we take it to the International Court of Justice? What was the position of the person that did it, that commanded the army to go there and open fire on peaceful protesters? It ended like that. But it does Nigeria matter. Let us just leave it for God. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. 0913600. I'll try and read as much as I can. Okay, at this world, and that is not going. That it is not going to be business as usual. Jamming from Shobule. Okay, this one says, Femi from Ikorodu, the protest achieved a whole lot, because we saw the way the government people were running helter skelter. However, the people did not exactly unite to have their thought out. Some people are asking for different things, but more importantly, I bet that's what you mean to say. Okay, stop on Facebook, facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. I'll read your messages. I'll take the much I can from the protest. First, there was no unity among the different protesters. Some went as far as carrying the Russian flag, which is not part of the demands of the protest. I hope it is going well. Sure, it is. With what happened in the last election, it shows clearly that the power isn't given to Nigerian leaders, but snatched by all means and run away with it. You said you can fool some people, but sometimes you can't fool all of the people all the time. Thank you so much and have a beautiful weekend. Thank you. Benjamin is on Facebook says, to me the protest achieved a lot. The government was seeing the handwriting on the wall and that it is not okay. I already read your messages here on our direct text. Marian Okengbe says, President Tinubu should come up to the F and says, the Nigerian youth and the Nigerian did not achieve anything from the protest as long as I'm concerned with the bracket, in my opinion, except the destruction of lives and properties. What I personally see on that protest is that there is no evidence that we're still operating a democracy in Nigeria, which is all about the rule of law. The government did not respect democracy, especially the APC government. If they do, they wouldn't be speaking against protest. In 2012, it was this same set of helpers not to bring shame to this country God bless Nigeria, and God bless you too, Christopher. Effiong, 0913-600-0410. Let's get back to the phone lines. What did you gain, or what did you think the country gained from the protest, if any? Talk to us about it. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Mainland FM.
Hello, good evening.
Good to have you join us today. Mr. Ayo, from Mowe.
Yes, from thing to make sure that we don't bother whether somebody that belongs to us is in the power, and we're able to go all out to tell him the truth. However, it is a salient truth, but many people may not want to buy into it that we are tribalists, especially the northern part. So we can see have anybody. I think from all parts of the Nigeria, we should be able to stand up and say no. If we want to develop our health, I think what we have achieved now, we easily go back and we achieve nothing in the future again. That's my own contribution.
Thank you very much. Break by 5, which is going to be the headline news, and also pay some bills. They will return by about 5 minutes past the hour of 5, and I'll continue to pick your calls. I've got quite a lot of thought here today on the show. The protest, did he exactly address the issues that it was set out to address? What do you think about that? Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
You're welcome. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Nina from Badagry.
Madam Nina from Badagry. Good to have you on the show today.
I've got discipline. Good. Now, my brother, I have legs to walk with. I have hands to walk. I cannot meet up food. Today, I went to buy 1 derica of beans. Not even good derica. 1,700 naira. I bought a granite that I want to sell. Half repaid. 3,600. If I tie it, I will get it. But I just want to do it. Then what of the people that are not working, that are deaf and dumb? What of the people in the hospital? The people that are taking care of those people in the hospital are the ones that even bringing food, and they are even the ones that are suffering more than the person. They can't buy bread for them. And you want to go and see grandchildren, you can't buy anything. Because they will start searching your bag. You have not even gotten, because you lost transportation alone and food. So this site, it is good, but they have not any rice we will be eating. What of the condiments? Onions, one lump, is 200 naira. Before today I got something of 5,000 naira. I'm thinking of what to eat tomorrow. The groundnut is just to sell. I've not tried it. People are dying. There is something. I've been in the bed here, thinking of what to eat next. What of the children? What of our sisters and brothers that have no work? Oh, my brother, people are dying. One woman came to me today and said, Mommy, I am not eating. My children are not eating.
Okay, it's an emotional moment, and sometimes I've had the privilege of sitting down. How do you guys sleep at night? Because when it's election time, they're everywhere. Oh, vote for me, I will do this. Vote for me, I'll do that. I'll improve the quality of your life over and over again. But when they get into office, they understand that, we need time. So while you were campaigning, while you were saying you're going to do this, why didn't you put a time frame? In my first 1 year in office, I would fix infrastructure. Do we even know how many millions of housing deficits that we have in this country? So you think I will be a sane human being with every part of my senses intact, and I will go be paying rent to stay under the bridge in Ikoyi if I could afford decent and logical accommodation? I would be paying to stay under a bridge. It's insane for a country that has so much. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I asked him, I said, if you have the opportunity of stealing, in quotes, 80 billion, what will you do with it? And he said, what would you do with 80 billion? Whether stolen or alleged, whatever it is, even if you spend 1 billion per year, that means for 80 years you will still be spending without making any more. So you ask yourself, when you put yourself in a place of public, how do you wake up and when you heard, just like my last caller, I have to take her off because whatever it is that you can do right now, do it to make sure you don't fall sick. The cost of medications in this country is crazy. Just inhaler for asthmatic patient, I know how much it is being sold now. How do you justify this level of hardship in a country that has practiced 25 years of uninterrupted democracy? How much progress have we made? And you ask yourself, is this truly what the people of Nigeria deserve? The hard-working part of this country is this tax to bandits to access their farm produce. I will be back by 5 o'clock after deadline news. Don't go nowhere.
Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Good evening. Headline news on Mainland FM. My name is Sage Babalola. Bad governance in Nigeria protest organizers call for IG's sacking. Kano Governor fraud case blocks bid to halt proceedings. Federal government takes delivery of 60 locally assembled CNG hybrid buses. On the foreign scene, Congo rebel leader 25 others sentenced to death in high-profile trial. Regrettable Ukraine condemns Niger's decision to sever diplomatic ties over unfounded Mali incident. Police hunt for exiled Catalan leader Carles Puigdemont after dramatic return to Spain. In sport, Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ misses Women's Olympics 100-meter hurdles final spot. That is the headline news on Mainland FM. Details at noon.
This is Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos. Looking for ways to save your data? It starts with your apps. Deleting unused apps helps, but there is more. Most apps have data saver modes. Activate them to control data usage. You can also go to settings to turn off auto updates. Lastly, close unused apps to save data when you ain't using your apps. These changes can make a big difference. For more information, visit your mobile operator's website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for more helpful tips. Stay connected and enjoy smarter data usage. This message is brought to you by the Association of Telecom Operators and Nigerian Communications Commission.
Attention everyone, this is an important message about cholera.
Cholera is a serious disease, but we can stop it together.
Remember to always drink clean using the toilet.
Cook your food thoroughly and eat it while it is hot.
Keep your surroundings clean and dispose of waste properly. If you or anyone you know shows symptoms like severe diarrhea or vomiting, seek medical help immediately.
Together, we can beat cholera and keep our community healthy.
This message is brought to you by Mainland 98.3 FM, Lagos. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Looking for ways to save your data? It starts with your apps. Deleting unused apps helps, But there is more. Most apps have data saver modes. Activate them to control data usage. You can also go to settings to turn off auto updates. Lastly, close unused apps to save data when you ain't using your apps. These changes can make a big difference. For more information, visit your mobile operator's website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for more helpful tips. Stay connected and enjoy smarter data usage. This message is brought to you by the Association of Telecom Operators and Nigerian Communications Commission.
Open defecation in Nigeria perpetuates a cycle of poor health, environmental degradation, and undermines human dignity. With approximately 47 million people practicing open defecation nationwide, Nigerians look grim. The overriding effect in itself can be terrible to our general well-being. In that light, we from Mainland 98.3 FM call on the government to increase its efforts in providing public toilets to end this scourge, and we also encourage the citizenry to imbibe proper hygiene.
What about all things that you said we were?
You dey find ways to save your data. You go first start out with your apps. Delete apps wey you no dey use but other things go still dey. Some apps get data saver modes. Make you activate them to control the data usage. You fit also go your setting make you off the auto updates them. Then make you also close apps wey you no dey use to save your data when you no dey use your apps. This small change go fit help you save your data well. For more information, make you go your mobile operator website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for better tips. Make we dey connect and enjoy our data use well. This message dey come from the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators wey join body with the Nigerian Communication Commission.
This is Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
The remix, believe it or not, is the remix, believe it or not.
Things seems anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there's not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we've made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say to except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing, we are starving. We should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join WG=M소ɪᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you next as we discuss the situations.
Thank you very much for staying with us on Mainland 98.3 FM. By 5:30, we'll have the full bulletin come through, and by 6 o'clock, we'll come back for Sport Cruise on Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll look at the 3 athletes, and so far, so good. We're yet to record a single medal. Even if it is bronze, we'll probably, this time around, it will taste like Tᴜɪᴛᴛᴇʀ. She failed to qualify to the finals today. Well, not so good. But we'll come back again and we'll try again. But I'll be 6 o'clock. We're back in the situation right now. And before we went on that break, we had a conversation around the nationwide protests. Did we achieve any kind of success whatsoever? So I've picked your calls because all through the last 2-3 weeks, it's been guest upon guest upon guest. So I feel like today is Friday, the last edition of the show for the week. Why not? Why don't you just relax a bit and let me have your thoughts on some of these issues? But we're focusing on the protest. Did we achieve anything at all with the protest? Did the government really listen to what the people were asking for? The speech of Mr. President on Sunday, did it make as much progress I would expect it to? Yes, the people took a lot of drastic ways to express their thoughts, their mind, and their constitutional right as issued to them by the Nigerian, allowed to exercise his rights, which is the right to or no force on the protesters. But what do you think? 0913-600-0410. Did we make any progress whatsoever? Talk to us. Hello, good evening. Welcome back to the show.
Good afternoon. Good evening. This is Olaiwola.
Mr. Olaiwola.
Yeah. In terms of the protest did not achieve anything. Hello?
Mr. Olaiwola, I'm with you.
Yeah, the protest did not achieve anything because what the protest brings us what the protest brings to Nigeria is to show us the reality how we divided along pieces, other people also bringing anarchy to the country. And the reason why I'm saying this thing is that if you look at how the protests go in the north, where the protest goes in Kaduna State, where the L5 come from, I mentioned the name today because they are not the same page with the president, and he is the controller of his area, and they bring in the kind of a riot within the area to create an unpeaceful environment within the Kaduna State. Number one. Within the Kano State again, you look at the protest is not about the governor, but the protest against the political system. All these faithless protests, come up with it. Let me give you a vision so close to the policies. If the policies are negative in the part of the citizen, you have the right to question. But at the end of the day, no leader to sue for it. And when the thing begins to have a sign of a crisis, they have a Russia flag, they call for British to take over. That is where you begin to see all those who will let they run away, all those are they didn't come up again to talk anything again. These are the issues. Before any protest in Nigeria, and that is why I say that let it go to the National Assembly, especially in that process because we are busy in this country. Let it have a special. So we can.
Thank you, Mr. Olaiwola. Thank you.
So I want you to have a special list.
Thank you.
National Assembly.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. More calls coming in. 0913-600-0410. Mr. Olaiwola.
Good evening.
It's evening.
Yes. We're talking about the gains of the protest. Were there gains or not? Well, for me, I would look at it who used protest the right way. And I can remember Martin Luther King, who talked about the philosophy of non-violent protest. I can also remember the American John Lewis, who talked about good trouble. In all that we have done as regards protest, have we followed any of these things I have laid out? Because we must always learn to understand that without petrol, fire can be curtailed. But anytime you light a match where you have petrol, it's going to run into a ball of fire. So we must begin as people, as we go older, and as life changes in governments and all of that, we must begin to think about better ways. How can we dialogue such that we'll be able to get what we want? How do we work such that we don't even begin to destroy things that belong to us? That government will use our taxpayers' money to repair and rebuild, and even through corruption they will make money off us. How do we run a society where we can openly sit down together, work things out, and make things better for the people who truly need it? I think as we grow older and as life continues to move on, we must search for better ways to lead and to make.
Talked about the fact that as we continue to make progress as a nation, we must find better ways of demanding accountability, responsibility, and fairness from the people who voted into office. What do you also think about that? 0913-600-0410. Hello, good evening, caller.
Hello.
You're welcome. Your name and where you calling from?
Jibola calling from Ikola.
Good to have you join us, Mr. Jibola from Ikola.
I really want to say something concerning maybe we have learned anything on the protest or not. Messages have been learned. The protest is a bit successful even before the start of the protest. The first thing is the court attention of the government. That's the main thing. That's the first thing. They caught the attention of the government even before the protest started at all. That's the first success of the whole protest. And I want to put something straight now. See, nobody can come and tell me that this administration has done anything better for the country. Why did I say this? Before you can, okay, let me just put a simple scenario out. You want to cook a food, right? I don't even know the number of people I want to cook a food.
How many people are you cooking for?
You don't even know the number of people you want to cook for. Or do you even know the class of the people I want to eat it? Is it the young people I want to eat it? Or the people I want to eat the food? That is what we are saying. The government has paid because they don't even know the number of people that are in the country. How many people can work? How many people are the working class?
How many ex-convicts?
How many
physically challenged people do we have?
Thank you, sir. How many physically challenged do we have?
It's a data problem.
How many handicapped are we having? How many children? How many? That is the question that we are. They ask any minister today. Ask even the president. They don't even know the number of people that are in the country. They don't even know the number of people that are workable. And that is why they'll just be gambling everywhere. And that is it. That is unfair. Because you are playing with the lives of people. You are playing with generations of people. The generation of the country is hanging on just vanity. And people come back to the press to come and tell on the radio, come and defend lies. That is what is paining me in this country. We don't even know the direction we are going.
Thank you.
We are moving.
Thank you.
God bless this nation.
Thank you very much, and God bless you too. Really big. And my last caller just asked the fundamental question: when you don't know the number of people you're cooking for, how do you know the demographics of the people you are cooking for? Some people don't take salt. Some people have underlying medical conditions. They cannot take too much groundnut oil. But you come to the meal, you come with the ingredient, and you pour everything together, and then you cook the meal, and then you dish it out like that, irrespective of whether some people can eat it or they can't eat it. Some people don't take pepper at all, but then you decide to over pepper the food. Some people love pepper, but decide to under pepper the food. So that's one of the bigger problems we have in this country. Data is a problem, and it's a fundamental problem. The last time we had the Kano was said to be about 9.3 million or thereabout. There were states in this country that had less than 2 million as at 18 years ago. Akwa Ibom had about 3 million or thereabout. Ekiti State. All of these states had really light numbers. But can you say the same of Lagos today? Can you tell me, in all fairness, that Lagos is just 9 million today? So how do you have the largest black nation in the world, the largest democracy to plan the nation? We don't know the number of young people we have in this country. We don't know the number of old people we have in this country. We don't know the number of people we have in this country that are within the employment level, employable people. We don't know the number of, in fact, we cannot even exactly put the number of out of school children. We just approximate. So you wake up today and say, well, Lagos should be about 20 million. Kano should be about 40 million. We don't even know people that we have in this country. Do we have a proper death and birth rate in this country? These are the fundamental questions that we need to ask ourselves. So how do you plan to develop a nation when you don't even know the entire population of the people you're working with? We just keep assuming. We keep making plans based on assumptions. Why have we not had a census in 18 years? By law, it's supposed to be every 10 years. We were supposed to have one last year, but it was postponed until today. We've not had anything about it. It is a major step. Let us have an idea of the people we're dealing with. Let us know how many people that are ex-convicts that we have in this country. Let us know how many people that are living with physical conditions in this country. Without such, when we just come up with the idea of, well, let us give money to the poorest of the poorest, How do you get their numbers? How do you reach this? Until we have a nationwide head count, let us know. Lagos as at December 2024 has so numbers on record. Kano as at December 2024 has so numbers. Let us have it on record, so that when you're making your plans, when you're making your interventions, you will know how to target the people you want to work with. When you're making policies that will affect the old people, you know the entire population of the people we're working with. That will be a major step to fixing some of the fundamental challenges that we have in this country. That is the truth. Well, let me have your thoughts. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Mainland FM.
Good evening, Ope.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
The previous caller before this talked about engaging the government for transparency and probity. Are you there with me?
I'm with you, Mr. John.
So the when you even has there not been engagement on transparency and probity? Those ones that have been engaged, that are even held accountable, have they been dealt with? Hello, or are you rest of them? Even the Minister of Power, I didn't support the destructive tendency. Are you there?
I'm with you, Mr. John.
We should let the blame squarely on them, just like what you have said now. You didn't carry out data analysis. You didn't know the amount of people that should even be given money.
How do you plan for them?
You didn't even have plan for them. Look at the census you have just spoken about. Even up until you go there, we have people that are in Puda, which you cannot go in and count them willfully. So why are we kind of a referendum?
Thank you very much. Good evening. We're really pressed for time. Finally, Mr. Gege Joshua. Thank you for calling. You've been calling. Thank you.
I'm telling you. See, Prof, I'm not happy today. To be almost on high, God. See, one of the problems we have is on the Lagos admit that yes, we don't have natural disaster problem like that and all that. But the only problem we're having is bad governance. Maybe I can't really say whether God just gifted us with that one for us to just keep battling with them instead of flood or tornado or natural earthquake. You know. So for now, we should be thanking God in our own situation. But then, not until we Nigerians come together and say, see, let us look into our electoral
processes.
As well, they don't intend to recover or pay my debt. All this one we are saying, you see, this process they don't achieve anything. I'm telling you, anything. Nothing changes now. See, imagine the president just give an address and he not even talk about the people that died and all that. You understand? It shows he doesn't really care about the protest because maybe majority of the organizers were just faceless. And again, people want to even join the protest. Some of them ran to USA and, you know, even Ogafalana just sat back, you know. The thing is not achieve anything. But I strongly believe that a big protest is coming. Yeah, and that one will be unplanned.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Gege Joshua. Well, let me put in Mr. Praise Wise.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling.
You see, what is president? If you say we don't like anything for the last protest, we are okay. For me, I know what to do. Mr. President was like a lot of lessons. If you don't like the lesson, you address Nigeria. I guess, but I'm talking to you now. We say only the north.
And he's been calling. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Okay. A long one here. Tèmítọ́pẹ́ Ọ̀nàtóyè says it's ridiculous that with all of the hype that has been given to President Tinubu before he came on board, it's unfortunate and unimaginable that we find ourselves in this terrible situation, falling or disappointed the highest number of ministers and special appointees, in which as of today there's nothing to show for it. I feel it's time for him to reshuffle his cabinet and look for patriotic technocrats that will work with them. Believe me, there will be changes, because I'm sure they will not be the type that will be advising the president to continue sharing rice every day to the end of his administration. God bless Nigeria. and God bless you too. Thank you very much. Okay, on Facebook, Larry Olakomi says, can we have an accurate population figures going by the political intrigues that used to trail our past population census? The last protest sent panic on the part of the government, but destruction of properties and loss of lives has rendered the protest insignificant and worthless. True. Chika Bender says the protest may have been says the protest achieved a lot even before the day of the protest, but I believe actually because majority keeps lamenting every single day. Thank you so much to everyone that been a part of the production today. I will be back by 6 o'clock for Sport Cruise on mainland 98.3 FM. But joins me all the way from Paris, France, as we look at the performance of Team Nigeria and where should we go from here. But as it is now, the gold medal football match is going on right now between the host nation France and Spain. As I speak, is witnessed quite a lot of goals just in the first half alone. As it is now, it is Spain leading France by 3-1. We'll talk about all of that by 6 o'clock. My name is Oᴏᴜᴜ Akinode. We'll continue to ask the right questions. And once again, we say thank you to everyone that called. Apologies for all of the messages that we can't read. We have loads of them here. But we'll be back again by Monday. God spend our lives. God keeping us safe. Stay safe once again. Stay out of trouble. Big shout out to my intern Pelumi for always attentively following the conversation in the studio. My name is Oᴏᴜᴜ Akinode. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and keep your dad logged on mainland 98.3 FM. The news comes by 5.
Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial. 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial.
This is the Global News on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Good evening. Welcome to the Global News on Mainland FM. In the highlight, Kano government hits Ganduje with fresh 57.4 billion naira fraud charge. Court transfers El-Rufai's 423 billion naira fraud case. Blocks bid to halt proceedings. On the foreign scene, Congo rebel leader, 25 others sentenced to death in high-profile trial. Regrettable, Ukraine condemns Niger's decision to sever diplomatic ties over unfounded Mali incident. In sport, Tᴏɪᴜnᴜ misses women's Olympic 100-meter hurdles final spot. Now the news in detail. I am Sage Babalola. The NPAD Governance in Nigeria Organizing Committee has demanded the dismissal of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, in response to the killing of protesters. This demand was made during a candlelight symposium held in honor of the victims at the White House in Ikeja, Lagos State today. Recall that the committee, based at the Ganifa Army Freedom Park in Ojota, Lagos, had declared 3 days of mourning for those who were killed nationwide during the ongoing NPAD governance protest. The hunger strike, which was intended to last for 10 days, is now on its 9th day as of Friday. In the same light, Amnesty International has accused the Nigerian security forces of killing at least 21 protesters during a week of demonstrations against economic hardship. The Kano State government has filed fresh charges against former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, his Commissioner for Local Government Murtala Sule Garo, and 2 others in connection with the alleged misappropriation of 57.43 billion naira intended for the state's 44 local government. The charges, meticulously prepared by the Kano State Ministry of Justice, accuse the defendants of conspiring to divert funds meant for developmental projects and public services. The money was allegedly funneled into personal accounts and used to acquire luxurious properties in Nigeria and abroad. According to the charge sheet, the accused include Ganduje, Garo, Lamin Sani, and Mohammed Takia. The state government claims that the defendant mismanaged statutory allocations remitted to the state's joint local government account from the Federation's account, diverting 54.4 billion naira through various personal and corporate accounts. The case, filed under the authority of the Attorney General of Kano State, is supported by a formidable legal team and a list of 143 witnesses, including local government cashiers, foreign currency exchange operators, and former bank employees. Inspector Mohammed Nuhu is expected to testify about properties linked to Garo in Dubai, while Labar and Kura will detail how large sums of money were converted into US dollars. The case, brought under Section 211 of the Nigerian Constitution and the Kano State Administration of Criminal Justice Law of 2019, could set a significant precedent in Nigeria's ongoing fight against corruption. In a significant legal development, the Federal High Court in Kaduna has declined jurisdiction in the fundamental rights suit filed by the former governor Nasir El-Rufai against the Kaduna State House of Assembly. The case, linked to an alleged 423 billion naira fraud, saw El-Rufai attempting to challenge the Assembly's actions against him. Motions from the applicants were heard during a virtual court session held on the 29th July 2024, presided over by Justice R.M. Aikawa. The next day, July 30th, Justice Aikawa delivered his ruling in which he stated that El-Rufai had failed to demonstrate any compelling circumstances that would justify setting aside the court proceedings as requested. Justice Aikawa also addressed El-Rufai's application for recusal, dismissing it outrightly. He emphasized that El-Rufai did not provide sufficient reasons or factual evidence to warrant the judge stepping down from the case. In the meantime, the Lagos State government says it is setting up a joint technical committee to map out strategies to regulate the sales of herbal products on social media platforms. Afolabi Solebo, the general manager of Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, LASCOPA, said that the setting up of the committee was the highlight of its visits to the Lagos State Traditional Medicine Board, LSTMB, today. Solebo added that both LASCOPA and LSTMB also plans to raise public awareness of the dangers of unregistered herbal drugs on the market. He said that the committee became necessary because the government was concerned by the ease of access and the proliferation of unregistered and potentially harmful herbal medicines as marketed online. Solebo emphasized the need to curb the rampant sales of unregulated herbal drugs, saying that it posed significant health risks to consumers. The LASCOPA boss added that a concerted effort aimed at safeguarding public health and maintaining traditional medicine standards in Lagos State, therefore ensuring a safer marketplace for all the consumers. Now, the federal government has taken delivery of 60 locally assembled compressed natural gas hybrid buses. Revealed in a post through its official X handle on Thursday, the buses were delivered by Jet Motor Company under the presidential CNG initiative. According to the statement, the development is in continuation of efforts to provide affordable and comfortable transport solutions for Nigerians. The vehicles were handed over to a team comprising the Ministry of Finance and representatives of the presidential initiative of CNG at the company's car manufacturing plant in Aja, Lagos State. President Bola Tinubu's national broadcast during the End Bad Governance protest against hunger and hardship noted that despite Nigeria's abundant oil and gas resources, his administration met a country that was dependent on just oil, neglecting its gas resources while subsidizing the cost of fuel. As a result, he said his administration had invested in CNG to change the narrative. You're listening to the Global News on Mainland FM. Stories on the foreign and sports scene after this break. Please stay tuned. And now on the foreign scene. A military court in Congo sentenced 25 individuals, including Corneille Nangaa, the leader of the rebel coalition alliance Fleuve Congo, to death on Thursday, following a widely watched high-profile trial that began late last month. Nangaa, who was found guilty of war crimes, insurrection and treason, along with 19 other defendants, was sentenced in absentia and remains on the run. Speaking to the Associated Press from an undisclosed location, Nangaa condemned the court's decision, calling it a nauseating judicial saga that strengthens the AFC's struggle for democratic normality in Congo. The AFC, a political military movement formed by Nanga in December, seeks to unite armed groups, political factions and civil society against the Congolese government. Amongst its most notorious members is the M23, an armed group implicated in mass killings in eastern Congo's protracted conflict. Congo's President Felix Tshisekedi, along US and UN experts, have accused neighboring Rwanda of providing military support for M23, a claim that Rwanda denies. However, in February, Rwanda acknowledged the presence of its troops and missile systems in eastern Congo, citing security concerns linked to a buildup of Congolese forces near its border. The court's ruling against Nanga comes on the heels of a ceasefire agreement between Congo and Rwanda, mediated by Angola. Although the ceasefire took effect on Sunday, there was little optimism as previous truces has collapsed within weeks and fighting has already resumed near the Ugandan border. Von Muya, a conflict studies researcher at St. Paul's University, suggests that Nanga's death sentence may be intended to provide Congo with leverage in potential future negotiations with Rwanda or the armed groups. And still on the foreign scene, Ukraine's foreign ministry expressed regret on Thursday over Niger's decision to sever diplomatic ties with Kiev, describing the move as based on unfounded and untrue allegations. The Nigerian junta's decision followed in solidarity with Mali, which had earlier cut ties with Ukraine over comments made by Ukrainian military intelligence official. These comments were interpreted as support for rebels fighting in northern Mali. It is regrettable that the authorities of Niger have decided to terminate diplomatic relations with Ukraine without conducting any investigation into the incident in Mali or providing any evidence as to the reason for such a step. This was stated by the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry. Tuareg rebels said they killed at least 84 Russian Wagner mercenaries during fighting in July in what appeared the heaviest defeat for Wagner since it stepped in 2 years ago to help Mali's military authorities fight insurgents